Hi, Vijay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, folks.
Good afternoon, Priya. Good afternoon, guys.
Folks, we would make it more interaction based today. So you can unmute yourself anytime and ask your questions around. Hey, everyone. Warm afternoon to everybody. Folks, we would make it more interaction based today. So you can unmute yourself anytime and ask your questions or interact anything, everything. I can see a lot of folks joining us from our community itself. And for those of you who are new and we did not have a chance to interact with yet, let me just introduce you to HelloPM. So HelloPM, at HelloPM, we are a community of product folks. We have aspirants coming from different backgrounds. We have people who wanting to be transitioned from their existing roles into product roles. We have serious graduates. We have entrepreneurs who want to learn about product management. So we have been into this for almost 8, 9 months now. And today we are a strong community of around 100, folks. My audio, okay. Let me check with that. Folks, are you able to hear me? If not, please. unmute yourself and we can do it right here. All right. Thank you. Cool. So yes, so yeah, we are a strong community of 110 folks today. Very fortunate, very grateful for that. Um, so at HelloPM, we are running a 11 weeks intensive course wherein folks learn about product management, different topics, different um, we cover different niche. We have our contributors, our instructors coming from diverse background, covering their experience in fintech, edtech, retail, management consultancy, and whatnot, right? So please reach out to us. I would be sharing across a few links with all of you in the end of the session. So you can reach out to the founder himself or me, or just visit our website for more details. With this, I would let Vijay to take over.
Thank you, Priya. First of all, happy Teachers Day, guys. I mean, yeah,
Happy Teachers Day.
yeah, I mean, I feel that's one of the respectable jobs. I mean, you learn a lot from the teacher. I mean, apart from your parents, they are the ones who will groom you into the society, right? So, yeah, thank you, guys. So before getting, I mean, for the few who joined today, I mean, I'm Vijay. I have around 11 years of experience. Started my career in as a product developer, then slowly moved to product management. Okay, so I'm from BITS Pilani, computer science guy, um, and then ISB MBA. I mean, predominantly I dealt with mostly finance, fintech side. Like being it at Broadridge, we do with ICS, I mean, or else IB technology, investment banking products. At Wells Fargo, I was predominantly dealing mortgage industry, home loan kind of a product. I mean, at another company like CSC, where I dealt with insurance tech and a startup. I mean, where I was predominantly dealing the API first strategy, where where I was part of underwriting the loans for factors like for small careers. So that's about me. I mean, other side of it, I'm a big movie buff. You can give me any movie I enjoy watching. My wife always scolds me like you're wasting a lot of time, but that's I am. I mean, I enjoy watching. And while I was pursuing my engineering, we have a small short film making team, and we did multiple short films. One of our short film actually ended up with getting the national award for the year 2015. So yeah, and I'm a trained tennis player, used to represent my college. I mean, way back, okay, 10 years back, and now I lost touch playing. I mean, maybe that's the reason I'm becoming more fat these days. Okay, then I mean, so quickly we will see like what all we discussed. So we discussed about with this. Let me share my screen. Priya, can you give me access?
Yes, I'm doing that.
Yeah, I'm able to do it. Thank you, Priya. So I mean, I think you guys are able to see my screen, right?
Right, Vijay, we can.
Yeah. So we discussed about what is an enterprise, like what are the misconceptions. Then when we call enterprise customer, there is no big and small, everyone is a customer. Then I mean, from there we move to like what is enterprise product management. I mean, if you Google it, what is that blah 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 you are getting, and then then we talk about like defining enterprise product management. One of the important points, a great product manager has the brain of an engineer, the heart of a designer, and the speech of a diplomat. I mean, that's pretty important thing. And the speech of diplomat actually is pretty important because you work with multiple stakeholders. So stakeholder management is one of the key and very important, important responsibility you'll be playing. Then we discussed about what is an B2B versus B2C kind of thing, like how they are different, and then how you segment the customers to better take a decision. Then we discussed about product life cycle, like we discussed like for B2B kind of a thing, the challenges are your MLP. We don't say MVP here, we call MLP because you will come up with the base thing that is called most lovable product, uh, and which has to be production ready, end to end, and very well tested. There is nothing called half baked. Then we have you generally, if it is B2C product, you will directly reach to the customer, whereas when you via B2B, the end user will only use if the decision maker takes a decision, right? So you have to bypass him, like how you put your value proposition makes things change. So that's how, that is what is enterprise. All these we have covered yesterday. Then we saw a quick case study on, Slack, how they did release the 6 months beta product, and then to the small startups like RDO, Cause, and others, and then got the feedback, and then so that they can drastically decrease the switching cost, so because they got proper feedback and then able to and then identify the differentiator, like APIs, how they can quickly integrate with multiple platforms. So all these were from the feedbacks which they got from radio and Cause, which they gave the beta version for free to get that feedback. And then right, the other thing is history now. Now Slack is being it's so-called, like, you don't need any email. If you ask me at Turbo, I forgot using. We had a Gmail, Turbo account. I never used mails. Very rarely I have used it because Slack is something which is pretty comfortable, and even you can put the workflows there. You can trigger the things. Now, post that, even Microsoft is coming up with Teams very strongly. Now, new Microsoft 365 is really doing wonders in that way. Okay, now let's get back to our thing. Now we have here to discuss about strategy and vision. Before going to discuss about this, I would like, anyone can answer. Like Priya mentioned, today we want to make the session more in interactive. I wanted to ask you a question. Okay, the scenario here is, let's say, I assume like you guys understand, but anyways, if you really see, if any product has a platform layer, uh, that's the core of the platform of the product, and then there will be apps in a sense, to the customers you will give different kind of apps. Okay, so like in the platform again you'll have multiple features. Okay, so this is the core engine. Let us assume you a product manager, you can say a product head, you are heading the platform side, and as for the platform there are multiple other features like authentication, integration, new feature adding, and then there's there's customer request where you have to change few things, and there is something called, as per your market research, you got, you had to include this feature. If not, you will lose out the competition. If this is the scenario, and remember, your engineering effort is always a finite, like, you'll have a finite number of engineers with you, and your engineering manager need all the details, like, if not, he will, his team won't be able to, do the development, right? So you are the one who has to strategize it, like which one has to be done first. If this is the case, what is that you are going to do? Anyone can talk. You guys able to hear me?
Yes, Vijay, we can.
Right. Okay. Sridhar was asking me, I mean, Sudhir, sorry, he's asking like, can you repeat it again? Definitely. So my question here is, let's say you being a product manager for a platform. Okay. The platform has I mean, generally we'll have the features, all the features. I mean, at the same time, the admin console, like I mean, if you want to do the user management and stuff like that, and there will be an integration platform. So all these will be called so-called platform. On top of it, you will build the I mean user experience, and depends upon the customer, right? Now, you being a product manager, you'll have a request from your customer saying you have to do this change. Okay, that's from your customers, and from your sales team you will get few I mean inputs from your own team. I mean, from your market research, your strategy team will give you few inputs. If not, if you won't take action on those, you'll miss out the market capitalization. I mean, you'll lose out the competitiveness there. And finally, and let's say, I mean, if this is the scenario, like which one do you take care and how do you take? At the same time, you have a problem like your engineering effort is finite. You don't have, I mean, infinite engineering resources, right? You'll have so many working hours for that release cycle. Now, how you decide which one to take care and how to take it? You guys got it?
Yeah. Actually, I work at SAP, and at SAP, can you hear me, Vijay?
Yeah, Sudhakar, yes.
Okay. At SAP, for every feature, we have a mechanism. For every item in the roadmap, we have a mechanism of prioritizing. We call it as a value point. So whatever
Right.
the feature we get, so through value points, actually, what is the impact of that particular feature, or whatever the request that we get. So in what and all places that we are implementing this, and based on that, we get a value point. Out of this value point, we decide whether this one can be implemented at this point in time or not. That is one thing that for prioritization. But whenever we get I mean, as a for product manager, I definitely understand that we definitely get a request from multiple teams: sales team, marketing team, from the customer directly, and from the management as well. So we have to choose which one is giving low hanging fruit out of all these things, with less efforts and more business for the product. So this is how actually I take it. Maybe it is a generalized observation that I'm telling, but you can give your expert suggestion.
Yeah, I mean, that's the right approach, Sudhakar. I mean, Sudhir, right? Sorry.
Sudhakar.
Sudhakar. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So, okay, Sudhakar. I mean, but let's assume now, if I mean, the moment I said it's a platform, right? Okay, in a platform, when you are coming up with a product for a platform, authentication, I mean, in a sense, the admin console, even your platform features, and even your customer request, everything is important, right? So, and then some there will be few features which customer might not be requested at that moment, but your roadmap has to have it when you have a I mean goal of it. So if that is the scenario, what you will do? Because you don't know the reach, you don't know the impact, you don't know you might have confidence, you might know the effort because your engineering team will get you some effort numbers. So if that is the scenario, what you will do there? Okay. Yeah. So, okay. So this is something which I mean I encountered when I was working in servo. Okay. So in this situation, I have left with no idea other than deploying my engineering resources for all the three things, and then drive it for few days, and then in case if tomorrow I'll get any other request from the customer, if it is helping in this initiative, I mean, I'll accordingly tweak the resources down the line. In a sense, let's say the strategy here is to first deploy and then start working because my MLP might be needing those, right? So continue them till some point of time where I'll get a reach and impact or confidence for those points, and then I'll tweak the resources here and there. So I mean, this is the approach which I took, and it worked. I mean, but at the same time, I would like to mention it's not, it's case to case, and how you deal is depends upon that particular scenario and how is that you are going to see as a product manager and what is the roadmap. So if you see these are the scenarios where generally a product manager will see every day in day out, right? So I mean, those are the things I have mentioned it here. Blindly taking in customers' request will lead to a disappointment, disjoint product, right? You cannot listen to every product. And you have any question?
Yes. Do we have that much comfortability of driving three features with the existing development team? But development team, as we know, limited resources we will be having.
Yeah, but you have, if in those scenarios you don't left with any other opportunity, right? So if you are working for a startup, let's say, or else SAP, if it is venturing to a new product, new feature or new product, in that scenario, I mean, first thing, it's good to onboard a customer, but at the same time you cannot give an half-baked product, right? So you have to burn out, or else you'll need to play with the resources here and there till some point where you can actually get those numbers in. I mean, I understand you can get the reach, impact, confidence, effort, or else if you are using scaled agile, you'll get the cost of delay. I mean, you can put the WSJF numbers, but till that point, you won't be, you just need to play it, right? I mean, you have nothing to do, and you have to defend it. That's all. So that's how you can play. Yeah. So I mean, yeah. Coming back. So you cannot.
Vijay, so I have one question.
Sure.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, like this is clearly a prioritization problem, and still you don't have the resource for work on all three things. Still, if we need to prioritize at least 2 out of 3, right? So what will be the framework for that?
In that situation, I mean, that's what I'm saying, Pravinder. So you don't know which one to prioritize, right? So if you are coming up with a new, I mean, I mentioned it's a platform. For a platform, generally, there are, I mean, functional requirements and non-functional requirements, right? So functional requirements, you might be, let's say, I mean, for your customer, the end screen is, let's say, is important for him. But there are so many other background things have to happen to get that up, right? So those are all the depending things, like authentication, authorization, user management, okay? Then integration side of it. All these have to be deployed properly to get that. So I mean, I'm not saying that you can consider it all as a feature, but there are other dependency features to get that MLP, most livable product, right? So to get that bundle, you have to deploy and then take a chance there.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So I mean. Right. So that's what I said it, blindly taking in customers' request will lead to a disjoint product. I mean, so, one of our experience was, okay, so we have at Turbo, we had one of the big customer called Rider. I mean, he asked us for a feature that is integrating with his accounting system. And the deadline was for 3 months. Without actual proper understanding the scope of it, we said yes to it. Okay, so and then we started integrating. To get it done quickly, we went to another third party because via them they are going to integrate to their accounting system. Okay, when you talk about this platforms, sometimes your changes will also impact your customers, and even customer changes will impact us, because there will be tightly coupling happen. Though we say it's because there is this what you call API service calls coming here and there, right? So you have to think about in all that way. When without understanding the thing, we jumped into it, and then then what happened was a nightmare. Okay, till 2.5 months, we never knew, the third party one who is helping us was having no scalable thing when we get a huge API request call. Okay, so and we couldn't deliver it, so we went back and then properly discussed about it, and then we actually decommissioned the third party there. And then we had to rewrite everything and make it straight. Had a direct integration with the accounting systems there. So that's how it is. In practice, in practical things, when you deal with these things, saying yes everything to the customer won't work. You need to know. You should also have your thoughts in between and then commit to something so that it will be good for both of us, right? It's not a one-day partnership. It's years together, and a customer will be able to understand us even if you say no, because he'll see value out of it. That's how strongly you need to build your relationship. Then you should have a strategic behind the product decision made. Okay, so I will come to this point. I have another points there. I'll discuss about it in the later side. Then finally, this is a cliche warning. Everyone say you should have a North Star. Of course you should have a North Star, and then keeping that into the mind. And then while you are moving to that North Star, your customer will. You need to understand the customer requirements and slowly transfer to it. That's how you need to progress. That will make your strategy and vision better. That's how you will plan. Any questions here, guys?
When we talk about North Star metrics,
right.
So usually, most of the places people track either the revenue or the daily active users or monthly active users or the new signups. Only these things they do. But when it comes
right.
to B2B space,
right.
how the things looks like, because you don't have any clue how the sales happening and the marketing is happening. Mostly you will be directed based on the senior management decisions and few features that we find from competitor products, and we try to implement them. We do these things. So when it comes to B2B, how it happens?
Yeah, right. So what you said, everything has to be taken care. On top of it, there is something called product metrics. Okay, and when you are saying product metrics, technically you are saying mostly it is on revenue or it's mostly active users. No, that's not the only criteria. Generally, what we will do is we'll start segmenting. We will do the customer level segmentation, and then at the customer level we'll start tracking their requests. Okay, that's why I was saying, right? So this is how we used to track. Okay, so this is the data for November, December, January, February, on which we were tracking it.
Can you please zoom it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is 100% in the top.
Yeah. Now, is it better now?
Yeah.
So, okay, so this is how we used to, we used to track. Okay, so, if you see here, each one is a feature. You said shipments is one of our feature. Okay, Turbo is a startup where we dealt about supply chain logistics. Okay, it's more on more on to what you call a visibility and collaboration problem. That's what we used to solve. So we started taking monthly details for, as you mentioned, even those are also important active users. Monthly active users, those are also, but at the same time, we are also need to track, the business side of it. Like, not only MAU, DAU, we were also doing how many search for each API call, how many searches are happening. This is with respect to the customer, not with respect to the customer, with respect to the user. And then, this I won't be able to access this, but so on top again, I'm going to take the delivery side of it. Okay, this is how many, for the customer, how many, change requests I'm able to handle, and how many SUP tickets we are getting. And then year to date, like how many shipments are they initiated via our platform. Okay, so seeing all this data, from this data, you'll be able to bring out some information so that you will take a call on it, right? So that's how you will plan. Even this is, it's not, there is, generally when you, even I'm from, when you start reading about, Decode and Conquer, you generally see the metrics like DAU, revenue, in general, but in reality, you generally don't use those as a metrics. You use business to business, your success metrics changes. And accordingly, you'll take a decision. I would like to add on one point on it, okay? So while we were working at Turbo, I was dealing with this shipments. There was one shipment with Rider. Okay, Rider is again a 3PL player, where it's one of its customers is HP. Okay, so they deliver HP. Let's say HP has warehouse. From HP warehouse to, let's say, if they are retailer like Walmart is selling a laptop, let's say. Now via Rider they will sell, and our product, Rider will be using our product. Okay, so all we were seeing drastically huge. Our CPU usage went huge, and then all the other requests are getting slow, and other customers were asking for, why is this delay happening? And then even Rider came back, they are taking a lot of time. What is this? So as a customer thing, we had to look into it, right? So once we started digging deep into these numbers, then we identified technically problem was we were giving flex fields. When we are pricing it, we say it's for free. Flex field is nothing but, if you in your API calls, they'll have 10 fields, right? The 11th field, what we are giving has no business sense. They can use it for themselves. They can tweak it and use it, right? So that's a free kind of a thing. And we didn't put any restriction on those flex fields. So this HP, if you really see, HP has a small thing, small platform, and on top of it, it has hundreds of resistors, thousands of other small resistors, capacitors, and then wires and all, right? So if you start adding all those fields in your API call, the call will be huge. So to get one shipment, your one API call will be a huge set of numbers. So that one request was eating away all our CPU usage. So then we went back to the customer, pulled in all the numbers, saying that this is why we were facing this. So we went back, and then we changed our pricing strategy, saying that so because of your flex fields, which we gave it for free, you are using it without any sense, and that's really eating away all our. We would like to restrict you to 50 fields. And for that customer, because we had the contract, for the other customers, we are about to get the contract, we said only 10 fields in that one flex field. And on top of, if you want to use anything, pay for those extra fields. So that's how that small problem triggered and gave us an idea, and then that's again a revenue opportunity for us to capture. So that's how it's not only about MAU, DAU. You will track it via multiple factors. Yeah. Does it answer, Sudhakar? Any more questions, guys?
No.
Okay, so anyways, we discussed about this. Okay, I would like to discuss about Turbo. Okay, Turbo was started by Sai, one of the founders. One of the three founders. He's a Telugu guy. I met with him in the network. So in 2014, he started this company called Turbo, which solves the 3PL, 4PL, and then it's solving the visibility and collaboration issue. So when I met him, I mean, he gave me, I mean, he offered me this product head role, and then he asked me to drive the API first strategy. Okay. So the key differentiator for Turbo is to how you can bring in cost, accuracy, and efficiency. So that's how I mean that's how I was involved there. It predominantly solves the what you call supply chain visibility and collaboration. Mostly our user segment, we our customers are into what you call uh, we were targeting more 3PL and 4PL, whereas our competitors, Four Kites was our competitor, which dealt with predominantly on shipper side. I mean, the revenues for shipper is huge when compared to 3PL because the margins are huge for shippers when you consider to 3PL. So for us to go to the shipper side, what are the changes I need to make was my problem area, which I had to solve. And then that led to the integration issue, and that led to the API first strategy thing. And that's how I built that platform, one of the products which I was working. Okay. So yesterday, I mean, one of the guys asked me a question, interesting question, there's EPM. Do I need to have the business knowledge? So if you ask me, my knowledge was predominantly from fintech area, and suddenly I was thrown into Turbo. Okay, and Turbo is completely into supply chain and logistics. I have no idea about. I mean, completely all are bouncers to me. You know how you will duck for a few bounces, then sometime you will move forward and and hit a boundary, right? I mean, just like the yesterday Rohit Sharma, sometimes you'll caught in the behind, but sometimes you'll take that risk. So I went ahead and then slowly understood the problems. If you really see, end of the day, every business problem, if you identify you can solve it by technology mostly, or else it will be a stakeholder side of it. But you only thing, you don't need to understand all the jargons. People are there to help you there. Just need to jump into it, and then it's about your dedication and hard work. From there you can get into it.
So Vijay, so one question there. So when
Sure.
you talk about the API first strategy, how does it differ from the other strategies? Like, what's the main difference? How did you come up with the, like, you should go with the API first strategy compared to the SaaS or any like specific software based strategy?
Right. Okay. So, Praveen, that's a good question, Pravinder. Okay. So, why I changed it, so if you see this, I mean, these are the numbers for, number of requests. But predominantly, if you see, mostly the numbers are coming from the API usage.
Right.
So one thing, Pravinder, I mean, so if you have to take any decision in product management, you should back up with data, because you are not, you don't have authority to say, right? So in any decision, it's good to show the numbers so that the other person won't be able to object you. I mean, or else won't be there will be a lot of discussions going here and there, but with the data, no one can cross question or else do anything there. So that's what I did. Then when I started doing the research, I went back and then did the research for 4 months, bring in the numbers there, and so ensured that API is the best way. We are making we are getting a lot of requests from this API. So we need to be strong at your API. Okay. Same time, I even went back and did the research on our competitors. One of our core competitors was Four Kites. Okay. Four Kites had a strategic platinum partnership with SAP. I mean, Sudhakar might be a better person to tell about what is that platinum partnership. But anyways, that it's a huge $1 million side or something. You need to pay huge money to get that level of partnership. And we, being a startup, we cannot spend so much for one SAP to get that kind of a partnership. So considering all these, went back, just like even Sudhakar mentioned, low hanging fruit, right? So we identified what are all the other opportunities where we can get the integrations done, so that our customer can do a self service. I mean, on one click you can be able to establish the what you call the integration. Okay, so if you really see in supply chain logistics, you'll have multiple parties, and all the parties uses different uh, uh, logistics and supply chain products like SAP, Oracle. Few of them uses SAP, some of them uses Oracle, JDA, I mean Blu-ray, Blue-J. So I mean Blue Yonder. So there will be multiple products. Now Turbo is in between, and you need to be part of integrate with all these, so that the communication among these players will be seamless. uh, at the same time, to get that connect, you had to you had to invest a lot. Then how do you strategize it is what a product manager will do. All right, with the limited resource, with the limited time, and with the limited cash, finance, right? So how you will play your game is important. So that's how I did. So this data actually, I mean, made me and go back and then suggest it. Same time, wanted to bring another thing. So generally, right? I mean, in technology, you call tenant. A tenant is, a tenant is an instance of your platform for a customer. Let's say, okay. You'll have multiple tenants, and then that's how you will see you will get the data. So what I did was, when I was getting a lot of data from each tenant, and then started observing, like, from this from this tenant, where is this data is going on? Is it going to directly to another tenant, or is it going to another customer? So in that way, I started identifying who are our future customers can be, right? So this, not only your sales team can predict if today tech is there, and then you have the data in, because, and if all the interactions are going to via your platform, so you'll have the inputs there. So using that, I was able to identify the future customers, and then started reaching out them, and then sell our product better. Right? Any questions here, guys? Let's move on to the next one, like, getting the enterprise feedback. Okay, so first thing, I mean, generally you'll get, if mostly, as a product manager, you will sit with few discussions with your customers, not very much. I mean, predominantly, mostly it will deal with customer success managers, CSMs will be working closely with the customers. You will get the inputs from them, from your marketing team. In few, I mean, and on top of it, if you are in India, time zone difference. Now, if you see, I mean, consider me at Wells Fargo, or at Broadridge, or even at Turbo, our operations are predominantly in US, right? We are targeted US market, so I won't get very much opportunity to talk to the customers day in, day out. Generally, there will be a CS team who will handle this. So via them, you will get your feedback, and the other way. Other round is to observe the customer usage of products. So this PDF, what I'm saying, product data analysis is pretty important for you to take a decision. I mean, mostly this is where you can take better decisions, because data speaks everything. Once you analyze it, you can validate it with your sales, with your CS team, or else with your marketing team, or else even your higher management, but this will help you out. So same time, getting information from customer facing teams, that's what I'm saying. I mean, CS teams, marketing, sales teams play predominantly to listen out the feedback, right? So it's just a cliche one. Never take your best guess and assume, right? So it's always important to validate it via data, or validate it via what you call your CS, customer facing teams, or else your management will also help out. Sometimes, even your SMEs can also help you in that way. So So that's how you need to plan. Let's move on, guys. Any question there? Okay, just a second. Okay, so you know, when you are dealing with customers, okay, so there will be big customers, there will be small customers, even the organization, when the own organization also has multiple things, right? So if you ask me, I worked for, big customer, big organizations like Wells, others, Broadridge. At the same time, I worked for a very small startups like Turbo. So there'll be the kind of nature, the work culture, the kind of leadership, and the things will change. That eventually affect you, right? So when you say big companies, you are buying in the name changes, because decision makers are mostly top down, right? There'll be huge hierarchies, right? Even in product management as a separate organization, you have to bypass a lot of leaders there. You need to there will be a lot of VPs, vice presidents, senior directors. You need to take your you need to convince them to get the things done. Also, your release schedules varies hugely. I'll give the numbers in the next slide, but I'm just bringing to your notice. At the same time, if you think about small companies, it will be most agile side. Think fast, release faster. Then decisions will be bottom up. With the approval from leadership, in a sense, see, I'll give you the example in the next slide. Then open for different ideas, because it's small is something which you are not yet there. To be there, you will keep innovating things and try and error process, right? That's how think fast, release faster, fail fast, right? That's the criteria where small companies will be held. So I will give my personal example here. Broadridge versus Turbo. So the release cycle at Broadridge is sometimes, I see the release has 3 to 6 months or 8. There are few things when I saw a 9-month release cycle also. Whereas at Turbo, it's 2-month release cycle. Huge changes in the roadmap. Generally at Broadridge, the roadmap will be planned 1 to 2 years in advance. Whereas at Turbo, I know, every 2 months, I brainstorm my roadmap for this 2-month release, 6 months release, and then 1 year release plan. Every time I remember, every news, there is no. There'll be huge change between the last month and this month's release cycle changes. That's because you are early startup. According to the customers, you'll start changing your roadmap accordingly. Product decisions also change quarter to quarter, because huge number of customers onboarding, and then the competitive pressure will be there, so you have to change. But once you come into that strategic partnership quarter, when you become yourself as a strategic partner, things will slow down, because you both are a strategic partners, and then both look for win-win kind of a decision making and take a decision there accordingly. Any questions, guys? Okay. This is before and today, and mostly today we are, most of us are using this strategic process. But anyways, I just wanted to discuss. Before, roadmaps are entirely driven by customer driven. Entirely by customer driven. You generally will start segregating your customers, and sometimes you will deploy your engineers also with respect to the customers. Then every project subject to change. Same product, let's say XYZ project, Now you will deploy it via the, I mean, time zones, or else, via your US or UK, and then again in the customer zone, and then the project will be subject to change according to that. Uh, Mostly will deal with the highest priority. I mean, the high priority, high impact things will be driven, but now the organization strategies are changing. Now it's more on innovation driven kind of a thing. Now it's more becoming a horizontal, rather deploying it here, you are becoming one platform. So that's why the strategic projects are incorporated into the roadmap, right? So you will see how the roadmap will change over the years, and then you will take into consideration, and then accordingly you'll start deploying things. It's value of the customer is important any day. I mean, I don't say strategic proper. When people say innovation, that doesn't mean you will take like your customer. I mean, customer is what is important, but how you'll add on the value to your customer is how you innovate. That's how you will see. Then time set aside for discovery versus implementation. So if you really see, I mean, in MBA also, most of you guys might have learned about I mean, what you call amphidexis kind of a thing, right? So you will set some of your team members to innovate, and some will be more customer driven. So that kind of strategic innovators. Even if you ask me at Broadridge, I work for I mean, strategy innovation and team, right? We are team members who put aside where we will do the market research and get MLPs for the future. I mean, then we will go back to the customer, and then if it works, and from there, then the things change. So that's how the organizations are turning up. I mean, I think you guys have read about DuPont use cases, case studies where they saw huge success, or else 3M success on these kind of approaches, right? So that's how today time is set for both discovery and versus implementation. It's not always firefighting. You need to take a step back, think strategically, and then innovate newly, and then deliver it. Right. I mean, so okay. So yesterday I was one of the one of you were asking, so what is that an EPM will do, right? So I mean, any product manager, being it an enterprise product manager, or or B2B or B2C, generally what you will do is, I don't like to read all this. I'll tell you how it will be. Okay, so as a product manager, what is it expected out of you is, first thing, one side of it is, but I mean, it's obvious. You need to know the product. You need to understand the business. In a sense, if you are new to the job, you don't need to right away understand everything. You'll get that time because you have your senior, or else you'll have that transition happening slowly. But once you are there, what is that you need to look is, one is your stakeholders, like what are all the teams. That might be your engineering team, sales, marketing, and release teams, operation teams, even your support teams will also play a huge role. And then sometimes, because you will get support tickets which have to be resolved quickly, and with resolving those, analyzing those root causes will also give you an idea, like what are the features we have to take, or else what tweaks you have to do for your product, and how we can better improve your product. So all these has to be there. And most importantly, scoping of your work is pretty important. I mean, when I say scope, you will think about business analyst, but that, trust me, that's how you do. So generally, I follow this kind of a thing. This is what we call two-pager. You write your 2 pages. Okay. Generally, once you write your 2 pages, you'll discuss with your team. Okay. So what is the problem you are solving? What is the goal of your problem? And then it's a short-term goal, and then what is your long-term goal? I mean, while you are solving this problem, then out of which, what are all the user stories now? Then how is it impacting the business via customer, productivity, tech, table stacks and virality and incubation. Like what are all the things, and then what are all areas this change is going to impact. This will actually, while you are preparing this two-pager, if you identify these things, accordingly you will identify the dependencies, so that you can proactively reach to those. Let's say if it is a new feature and it will impact downstream and upstream applications, right? You should, if you name it here, you can quickly reach out to them and give them a heads up saying that I'm going to change these changes which will impact at this places. So be prepared, right? We will have something like spec queues, right? Where all the product managers sit together, strategize, and even we will generally present these two pages and open and start discussing. There will be sometimes if the other product manager has huge impact on your change, and then if he has an important delivery, you have to hold it, right? It's not about your prioritization. Sometimes the prioritization changes because of other product managers also. So generally these meetings are pretty important, where you will discuss about the impact areas. Then the key metrics, this is what we say success metrics or criteria, and then how you target it. Then at the same time, you will put on all your open questions. Most of these will solve when you start discussing with your product managers. They'll sometimes it's not like all the answers. It's no one here is 100% perfect. Everyone guesses it, right? So whatever you have, you will put it there, and then whatever questions you have, sometimes these will be answered by architects, or sometimes it will be resolved by the developers, or sometimes SMEs, sometimes the fellow product managers might have even answered these questions, right? So you will put all the open questions. Okay, this is how you start writing it. Okay, then the same thing will be shared along with your architects, senior engineers, or else that feature what you call SME from the tech side, and even the architect, and even what you call the designers, right? From there, you will start identifying the designer will start giving you the wireframe. Okay, and then it's more orchestration. I was because I'm movie buff, I always think product manager is a director, okay, film director who plays with producers money, and where you have no authority for the music director, for cinematographer, or all these are different crafts. Editor will edit and he has his own team. A music director will have his own team, and you will be able to orchestrate him. So you are the final one who will take a decision. Orchestrating everyone, right? This is what I want. This I don't want this one. I want this one. So in a similar way, product manager will also have the inputs from everyone, and then slowly identify each one and then orchestrate it, right? So that's why I said I always take that. This one as my best. Saying, right? Great product manager has the brain of an engineer, heart of a designer, and speech of a diplomat. So multiple players, you will be, multiple stakeholders, and then you will orchestrate it and get the things done, right? Yeah, yeah, Sudhakar. I come from more, because my interest was mostly into film, so I compare myself there. So then, then we will identify what are all the personas, the problem what you are solving, and then what is the current process, as is process, and how it will be, to be wish list. Then solution summary with the use cases. So this is what we call two-pager. Technically we call it two-pager, but it never ends with 2 pages. It will be 20 pages document. But this is where you will add on what are the areas of impact, what are all the user personas, instrumentation, impact areas. So this is how you start writing your users. What you call 2 pages, right? This is pretty important to be prepared with your specs. Then you'll open for the discussion. Then architects will take it and put their version of it. Technologists will put their versions of it, and then this final will be. All this will be happen before the release cycle. In a sense, let's say if January, February is your let's say January and February is your release cycle. So for Jan and Feb, first of all, you need to get all the requests. What are all you need to accommodate for this release? Okay, few of the releases will be for the roll-ups. I mean, like which you couldn't complete in last release will add to this release along with the new requests. So you will start listing them, all those lists, all the requests from all these what you call all these teams, right? Sales, marketing, all this. So there'll be one. I mean, there'll be hundreds of lists. Few of them will be coming from the previous sites, and then few will be from others. Now all these are there with you. Now what you'll do, you'll start filling out the specs for these. Okay, so these are the 2 pages. You'll complete those specs. So let's say we are working for January and February. I'm saying 2 months release cycle. This we will say, let's say this is R1. Okay, for R1. Now we are at December 1st. Okay, now today's date, let's assume it's December 1st. So December 1st, you have still 30 days of previous release, right? I mean, what you call for November, December thing, still the release is going on. R6 for last year, that is going on. But now today you are December 1. Now you consider what are all the chances there will be roll-ups. I mean, which will go back to carry forward to R1, and then the new request. And then you'll start documenting all the scopes for it, right? What is the scope? And then write the two-day specs, and you'll put a deadline. Let's say 15th of December. Before 15th of December, you will collect all the list of new requests. Then start putting the spec. Then start discuss with your engineering team. Then you will get the inputs about the efforts. Then you'll get the inputs about the difficulty, then the reach, impact. From there, you will start prioritizing it, right? This might go on similar terms. Sometimes you might you had to complete it. So in case if it is something new thing, and which will change your what you call change your business strategy, you have to implement. So the innovation side will also come into picture. So you consider all those and start accommodating. So that's what that's the product management, right? So in a nutshell, so collecting the different sites and then making it, and then preparing the 2 specs is predominantly day in, day out for any product manager. I mean, even if you are a product head, you will have some features under you. You'll end up doing the same thing. I mean, then you start, defining I mean, sometimes you will write the UAT test cases, or sometimes the testing team will write, and then you will mostly do the business level testing. So that's how roadmaps and all. I mean, when you say roadmaps, strategy and vision also comes into picture. I mean, that's like the way we discuss, if it has to be there in your MLP, then you have to burn. There is no other chance. Either you increase your engineering efforts, or else bring in new contractors. Then or else, sometimes you will do build versus buy framework, and then either rather reinventing your wheel, you'll go ahead and then acquire some new products outside your business, right? So that's how you do. So that's the day-to-day. I mean, meeting with the stakeholders, talking to the customers. Any questions, guys? Got it. Okay then. Okay, so
yeah, can I ask a question here?
Yeah, sure, Soumya, sure.
Yeah, so my question is, like, the companies which follows a bottom-up approach, like so whatever features they want to implement in future, that has to be first mutually agreed upon between the internal teams, right? Like the developers, designers, and testers, whatever it is, and then it will finally be approved by the like the CTO or whatever it is. Then in that case, just a minute. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. In that case, like, what happens, like, during the prioritization of the features, for example, the developer says that he might not be able to implement a feature within the stipulated timeline. Then, is it like, whatever the decision PM takes, that will be the only final call? Because feature might be, in if I talk about the priority thing, then maybe it could be of the least importance to a developer, but it could be of a high priority to a product manager or a designer. Then in that case, like, how does a product manager exactly decide, or the final decision has to be taken by him only, that so, like, this is my question.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So when you say bottom-up approach, that doesn't mean you are getting requests from the developers. Okay, so when I meant I mean bottom-up approach is something like, as a product manager, if you say something, you need to get it validated by your by your I mean seniors, right? I mean senior in the sense there might be a senior product manager, there might be a VP product manager, director product manager, even sometimes you'll have a CPO, right? So
Okay.
always remember, I mean, so I don't say, I mean, see, even I'm a developer. I used to be a product developer, and I'm crazy about technology. That doesn't mean a product. Those guys cannot innovate, and they have. I mean, they are more delivery side, right? They have to get the things done for you. So you are the one. I mean, as a product manager, you are the one who are deciding like this is what I want for this time. By let's say for January and February, I want these things. How you took the decision? I mean, while consulting their engineering manager, saying this is the effort I need to do it, and then considering the customer's request, considering your sales request, considering your marketing request, considering. I mean, you are the one who took a judge. You took a call saying that this is what I want. So
So
you don't
final
need.
decision
Yeah.
has to be taken by him only, because what I have got a feedback from my friends, like, who are doing who are in the PM role, this hiring one. So though
Right.
those people have told me that the one of the major hurdles which they face is that, like, in collaborating with the different teams, especially when it comes to prioritizing the features, um, so, like, a product manager has to definitely cut down the non-essential parts and put the first of all the essential, like, over. He has to prioritize the essential features first, but then in that case there could be some situations where a developer might feel that, okay, they should not implement this particular feature, but then this that particular feature is of importance to the other team. So, like, this was the feedback which I got, and then I was just curious, okay, then how do we tackle those situations?
Yeah, Soumya. So I will explain you one of the scenario which I encountered. Okay, so I mean, I moved from Wealth to Turbo, like from big player to a startup, and on top of it, integration is a layer, right? Integration, if you see, I don't know, like you understand tech or not, but I'm just saying it. If you say integration, it's between. Okay, you'll have a platform, you'll have integration, and then you'll have a customer. On top of it, if there is if you are integrating via another party, you have another stakeholder. So if you see integration, you'll have multiple, you'll have more stakeholders to play with, right? Not only your engineering team, your product team, engineering team, you'll have additional third party players also in between this. And integration is something which, there'll be a lot of support tickets coming up, right? So there'll be a lot of firefighting. So we used to follow 1 month release cycle. Okay, so just imagine 1 month. Cycle is every 15th day. I had to come up with my roadmap. I had to work on my strategy, and I had to implement it. Right. So, and on top of it, just like the way you are saying, developers will say something, you will add that, these things. Then I took a step back, and I asked for a stakeholder meeting. I call all the stakeholders, and I clearly mentioned I want to follow organization release cycle. That is 2 months release cycle, and I want a cutoff date. Let's say December 15th. I can. Of course, it's. Though I said it's 15th December, I can extend it for till 20th December. But till 15th December is my cutoff date. Only I will accept the request till then. If not, I can't take it. So that's the stand I took. You have to take. You should be able to say it clearly saying no, right? I mean, that's pretty important, for a product. Then I said like 15 December. Now I got 15 days and a 2 months to actually tweak my product. Tweak my release plan, right? So I can I can take the request, then plan it properly, talk to the engineering team, take their inputs properly, and even talk to the customers, take it, and then start bucketing them, and then again prioritizing under that. Sometimes you'll have 10 requests from one customer, 20 requests from customer B. You will have one engineering team and you have 10 plus 20, that's all gone, and where you can put your new features thing, right? So out of these 10, you should be able to get the talking to them, understanding their problem, understanding, like, asking them cross questions, talking to them, and then you'll identify like top 4 or top 2, and then you'll start, and then talking to your developers, right? Even they will give, sometimes SMEs can give you a better version of them, because text, right? I mean, it's not, so from their side, then you will short out of those 10, you will select top 2 or top 3, and then play your game. So that's important. Taking your stance is pretty important, and clearly communicating, like, this is what I can do and this I cannot do, I cannot accommodate it. I mean, that's how it is. I mean, it's because you have finite engineering, and then your effort is also finite, right? You cannot every day you cannot do firefighting. I mean, and yes, engineering also will give you details, but end of the day they are more delivery side, you are more on strategy side, right? So it's not coming, your work is not coming from them, you are answerable for the work which you got from your customers, right? So you should act as a customer, because you are under his shoes. Okay, so and then if he is saying you cannot work on that, you are the one who should take how the work done. I mean, yesterday if you said, I said, right, I mean, if you have I said it's product manager should be street smart, right? If you say it is not, I mean, sometimes it's tricky. I mean, I come from tech, I can understand, even I was very good at coding, so I can understand the technology, but sometimes the tech guy says it is not possible. Then you should ask them the right questions, so that I mean, and right questions to cross check, are they saying it rightly or not. You got me, right? I mean, if not, okay, why can't you do it? I mean, what is the problem? Okay, if you can, I go to someone else. And also you should be able to play your game in such a way that you need to validate it, right? Let's say XYZ told you that it is not possible, then you go to ABC and then check isn't it possible or not, right? Yeah. So, and at the same time, you should not release your stakeholder. I mean, end of the day, you are going to work with him for a long time, so that's how you plan. That's why the street smart, jugaadness come into picture, how you plan it, and then how you strategize and get the work done. End of the day, you are in your customer shoes, and you what customer want, that you should play your game to get it done. That's it, as simple as that.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Got it?
Yeah.
Any other question, guys? Right. Okay. So we are about to come to the, conclusion part. Okay. So key takeaways, enterprise product manager involves a lot of customer interactions. Okay. I mean, taking feedback and use it drive enhancements of products and workflows. That's pretty important, as we discussed. Sometimes feedback can be in-personal discussions, or else, sometimes it will be from your, product analytics. Use observation to drive real customer need for product innovation, right? So some observations are pretty important. Generally you will apply your design thinking skills there. People say you spend more time with with your customer, but in reality, it will be a different time zones. It's not pretty easy, but whatever possible way, try to get that some overlap, and then test the validate it. Sometimes there's some organizations, there's something called proxy product managers. I mean, where a product manager will be more close to the customer side, and then he will observe these skills, and then he'll go to the proxy product manager. He will observe those, and from there he will drive the engineering effort. So even that kind of organization structures also exist. That's up to the teams, and then up to the organization structure, how you play. I mean, it's about the organization culture. Then when you do something, it's good to have proper presentations. Okay, so I mean, people used to ask me, like, I got one. I mean, when I did the strategy for API first strategy, I mean, when I defined it, I got a buy-in for $2 million. Okay, so my the strategy which I said was quickly. I mean, just imagine for a startup which is hardly having a CAGR. I mean, average recurring revenue of 10 million at that time. I mean, and getting 2 million funds for your idea is big thing, right? Then people ask me, like, how you did that. So what I did was, I went back, I used the general common sense, I used the data, I used the customer interviews, and then I better presented it. I used the proper presentation techniques, and then I should see, one side of it is getting the buy-in from your customer. The other side of it is, there are huge number of players inside your organization only, right? So you will have your VP, you will have your CTO or CPO, right? So how you should know what is the right time and how to pitch him, and then get the work done, right? So that is even how you should know the person, what are the points, which point to hit him, so that your work will be done. So that's again your strategy, how you can mention what is the, how you play with your value proposition also plays huge. So before, when I used to work with another VP, he was more driven by what you call exceptions, or he wants customer happy with solving his problems, whereas the new always wants to grow organization revenue side. So for the old one, when I used to present my idea, I used to say in the how the customer is happy if I do this. But for the new, how my organization will grow with if I do this. So that's how I need to change my pitch. Maybe the same problem, maybe the same thing I'm solving, but the way I present changes, my tone changes. Yeah, I got a couple of questions. Yeah. Right. Okay. So, this is one line, which I mean, I take it from Bruce Lee. So what they say: adapt what is useful, reject what is useless, and add what is specifically human. If you generally follow to Bruce Lee one, he invented his own martial arts. Okay, so he learned multiple different martial arts like kung fu, karate, everything, and then he picked up what is that required, and then he invented his own kind of martial arts. And that, if you really see, hardly he was there till his late 30s, but the impact he did to when today we are able to we are talking about Bruce Lee, right? That's the impact he did. So whatever we discussed, it's something which worked for me. I don't say it works for you. Whatever new things you have learned, pick it, and if it is useful, adapt it. If you feel it is not useless, you can reject it. But bring another layer. I mean, another what you call, another your own strategy, or else your own specific, own it. Change it according to your situation and use it. Because product management is doing things ad hocly. I mean, and then you should be like dynamic and take a decision accordingly, right? It's more decision making. So own specifically for you, and that's where you will be a great product manager. Yeah. Now the platform is open for any question, guys.
So when people are moving from tech roles to product roles,
right?
What would be the easiest way for them to get into? See, off late, I see there are so many people. They are building content, and tons of content is available, and which are just for the resume purpose. Actually, people are building. So, do we really need to build tons and tons of content and showcase our resume that I'm eligible for product manager and doing all that?
I mean, very good question, Sudhakar. Because if you ask me, I mean, I'm also from. I mean, I'm a proper computer science guy, and I'm very good at coding. From there, I moved to product management. Okay, when I got to know about project management, uh, what I did was, seriously, I'm saying, I bought I mean, Decode and Conquer. That's one book. Okay, see, even today I'll carry it. This is another book, Inspire. Okay, I'll send you the book name. Okay, so this
Okay,
is another
especially
book.
Marty Kagan, right?
Yes, yes. Okay, so this one and case study problems. I mean, how McKinsey or BCG students solve a problem, right? I mean, so what is your approach? What is your step-by-step approach? How to solve the problem? Okay, so these are the things which I worked. I mean, and this is where I spent 10 days, and I changed myself. I called myself as a product manager and started giving my resume. Okay, and the first question an interviewer asked, how many people reports to you? Then I said 10 people. I don't even know, like, a product manager don't have reportees. It's back then. I mean, I'm saying way back, that's very new to India when I'm saying. I don't even know a product manager has no authority. I mean, that's why I always mention it, no authority, because I did that mistake. What I did, there's nothing going for me. I have my job and I'm doing pretty good at coding, but it just isn't product management. For that, I need to do try and error method. Same time, I started attending product camps. There'll be huge number of product camps in Hyderabad and Bangalore. One of the leader who heads UHG product leadership, okay, that guy said, the best way to crack product management is trying product management. That's it. It's I mean, people talk about a lot of frameworks. I mean, I see you are also from PGP Pro, I mean ISP, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, so if you really see, all the frameworks, do you apply in real business? No, right? It changes. And even a kirana store might become a supermarket. A supermarket might become a Walmart. He might not do a business. He might have the MBA grad, but the decisions what he took dynamically matters, right? So product management is also in the similar way. There is no book or there's nothing. Like, you should have that problem solving approach, and then you just need to play. I mean, who cares? Just say I'm a product manager. He'll ask few questions. You will learn from it. End of the day, if you've done with 5 to 6 interviews, the same questions are going to come, and same scenarios you are going to. So so this is how I learned. I gave, and predominantly I gave to startups because I don't want to risk with big companies again if I had to go back. So I started trying with startups, burning my ads, and startups actually ask better questions than and enterprises, because startups deals product manager as very core thing. In enterprise, still there is not proper differentiation between business analyst and product manager. Still they are in the transformation going on. Whereas for startups, there is proper roles and responsibilities. So I started giving their, I said, right, I said I have 10 people reporting to me. That's all gone. That was the first question, and he asked me to leave. That happens. You should take it, right? So when you are interested, you should accept you should be accepting the loss also, right? So that's how I lost an interview. Then I went back and did my research. Okay, why did I said 10, and then why he said me to leave the? Then I read about it. Okay, then I said, okay, product management is not about authority. Okay, so then one step in that way, I did 2 to 3 interviews. And lucky enough, like, I was more R&D guy. And then mostly I need to sell my one side of it is coming up with a framework. Same time, I need to give a lot of demos to the we used to do a in-house framework to Wells Fargo, right? So I had to talk to it. So that helped me to understand the customer problems and better solve. So those things added. So it's a mindset. That's it. You need to risk it, and then you'll get it. That's it.
yeah. In the same way,
And
I'm also trying.
yeah, and the other thing, Sudhakar, you don't need to write so much on your resume. Generally, if you have 12 plus years experience, you need 2 pages, or else it should be 1 page. and you should talk about more impact. Like, yesterday also someone asked the same question. I was saying, it should about your dollar, or else hours saved. Either it should be revenue, or else your cost. How are you decreasing the cost, or else how are you growing your revenue? So that's the impact. Whatever change you are making, you should get into that. Save, or else revenue side. That's the impact. I don't. If you ask me, I will do interviews for product managers. Most of them write the roles and responsibilities. So why the hell do I need to know roles and responsibilities? So it should be more about the impact what you are making. Guys, any more questions? You can ask me any question, man.
Hi Vijay. So Bhairav this side. I have a question here.
Sure.
Yeah. So let's say I'm working as a platform PM or enterprise PM, right? And my role is to add a feature on our platforms, right? And this feature request is not about asking a stakeholder or customer outside my company, but it is about innovation features, right? So how one should come up with this innovation feature to add to my existing product?
Got it. So yeah, this is something which I did at Wells Fargo, where we as a framework team. So we used to, if you understand the technology, if you see Spring framework, Spring is a framework where you can use it, and then on top of it you can build the applications in the similar way. I was part of a framework. The team was. I was from the start. I was the first one to get into the team. So our team has to get our motto was to come up with a framework where all the Wells Fargo teams can use our framework and build the application on top of it. So we are so-called intra source, just like open source. We are intra source for Wells Fargo. The motto there was, one, to get I'm explaining my scenario, the reusability of it, right? So the components have to be reused, and then cloud ready, and then the user experience should be pretty seamless. So while I'm explaining it to you, why am I saying all these? These are our vision. Okay, so we want to, our framework should have all these things, right? And on top of it, so whom are we going to give it? So generally, when I say a team has to use our framework, on top of it, who are the ones who are going to use it? A developer will be using it, right? A developer will use our framework. On top of it, he is going to build their application. So my success metrics is how quickly a developer can use it and deploy an application to the production, right? So that's how I build my framework. So considering all these, and then next step down is what are all the technologies I need to use? Okay, so then I start doing the market research. Okay, then identify these are the things I can use, and then how can I better it? So this is how I see. There's always this question, because I'm also from a developer, if your manager will ask to give, delivery date for a new feature or something, technically you won't have. So generally, then you can't. A whole organization is, let's say, transforming towards agile thing, and you'll as an R&D team, you will follow our waterfall model. Let's say, and your manager has the metrics problem. Even if you are a manager, even you will say like, others are following this vibe. So then there should be some middle way around. Then you'll come to Kanban. If it is agile, the Scrum is quite different. Then you'll move to Kanban style that works better for an R&D, innovation kind of a project.
Yeah,
and then you will track it. Yeah, so these are the things which you take care, see, any project should have a tentative deadline, right? In a sense, they should it's innovation. It's not like hitting things in dark. You should be able to identify. See, if I'm a product manager and my team is working on innovative initiatives, my effort is first thing, this bigger scope. How can I mean, identify the small use cases under it, so that the smallest piece of it can be delivered well. Then I can add something, right? So that's the problem. I mean, that's how you should work with your closely with your engineering team, and then identify that small innovation thing which you can do it. If not, if you are saying like I want to give a framework, I mean, that's a big term. Framework is a huge effort. You will have authentication, authorization, user management, I mean, services, then your app, then your user experience. Okay, you cannot say everything, right? What is the small thing which you can start, and how much quickly you can deliver is something which, as a product manager, you need to talk to your stakeholders properly and start giving that, and then slowly you will build. It's more iterative. It's not should be 0 to 1. You cannot do 0 to 1. Any 0 to 1 also, it has to go to 1, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and then we will go to 1.
Exactly. Understood. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, folks, do we have any more questions here? No. Okay. All right. All right then. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hope you all had a great time with us. These 2 days of sessions, we have started with our product weekends. We are looking forward to bring you more such sessions. Please fill in the feedback form. That is our only way to get to know if we were of any use, any help for you. Please write to us. I have shared across a few contact links with you. We are always approachable on LinkedIn. I have also shared our founder's Ankit's LinkedIn ID with you. You can reach out to him or me on LinkedIn. And folks who are from the community, you know it very well. We are always available on Slack.
Thank you, guys. I mean, thank you all for patiently listening to me, and thanks, Priya, for proactively helping me out with all the things. And it was great. And I always enjoy sharing my knowledge. And same time, from the questions I learn new things. So that's how I mean, I learned in my career. So that's what it's good to interact with you all. All the best, guys.
Thank you, Vijay. It's been a pleasure hosting you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, and have a great day and great weekend. And from tomorrow, anyways, back to work. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.